Now we got to watch out for hair. Even more so than last week. This
Wow.
week. A lot of hair. Gonna be a big hairball.
Dangerous.
So much hair.
Yeah.
Hair all over the place.
Gross.
It's all dirty hair probably too, so it's even worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's attached to dead people, so
You know that stuff hasn't been washed in a while.
no. I mean, they don't have hands to wash their hair.
Well, I mean, they're not washing their hair regardless, so.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Even when they're alive, they probably weren't, so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they washed their hair in the feudal era. They just didn't use shampoo.
They weren't, like, thoroughly cleaning it. It was just like, I don't know, just dump it in the water and then it's clean.
Yay!
Uh, Regardless, hello, welcome to this week's episode. Jared now watch Inuyasha. This is episode number 4. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hello.
We are discussing season 1, episode number 4, called Yura of the Demon Hair. Because she's got the demon hair.
Yep. And she's going to use it.
She really is.
Yeah.
We get a brief recap again of what happened last week, just in case you forgot.
Ridiculous.
But then we go back to the present time, or the present time of 1998.
Woof.
Kagomi's like, yay, I'm back, woo! She apparently tells her grandpa and brother what happened. They're like, do you guys believe that? And grandpa's like, oh no, but I sealed the well up with my cool spirit charms and stuff. Nothing will get through the well. Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Soda and Kagome are like, you sure it's going to work?
Mm-hmm. Inuyasha in his era is running through the forest, just sniffing the ground, be like, "That's her scent. I'd know it anywhere." He finds the well and is like, "Why did she leave her clothes here? That's weird." Well, I'm not grabbing them, so whatever. I'm jumping in.
He just jumps in and leaves her clothes. What a jerk.
Meanwhile, Kagome is on her bed just chilling. Her cat's sleeping
With a
right next to
kitty.
her. Because the
Meow.
cat's just like, "Meow, I'm sleeping here now." And Kagome's like, "Ah, it feels so good to be back in a bed, yay. But I wonder what's happening in the other place. Huh, stuff's happening there. Hope it's not too bad. Anyways, I get to be comfy again." And then she gets to go eat dinner.
Yeah, and she's super stoked about it.
Sota's like, "Grandpa, the seal's gonna work." And the old guy's like, "They're gonna work. I personally made them. Nothing will get through." And then Inuyasha just walks in and is like, "Hey, you gotta come with me."
And we were talking about this before we started recording, but the funniest part about this is that, like, he just busts in and is like, all right, you're coming with me now, and, like, grabs her by the arm and starts pulling her out. And instead of, like, panicking in the fact that there is a strange man in their house pulling their daughter and slash granddaughter slash sister away, they're like, he has ears. Can we pet the ears?
Can we touch the ears? And Sota's like, I'm next. The grandpa's just like, "How did you get through the well? I sealed it." And then Inuyasha's like, "Yeah, your seals don't work, my dude.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, man, but, like,
These suck."
yeah.
And you're like, "No."
He starts crying.
But yeah, like the rest of the family's like, "Ooh, ears, cool." And Inuyasha's like, "Can you please stop?" This is really
Kagome
weird.
even says, like, that's not cool to do, even though I did it too.
I did it the first time too. She notices, Kagome notices a hair on Inuyasha's like, "Hey, there's a hair here." And he's like, "What do you mean a hair?" And she grabs it and like holds it and like it just cuts her hand open. She's like, "Huh, weird. Anyways, I guess I'm the only one who can see this hair. Time to go."
But then she also realized, like, oh no, that means that the hair can come on this side.
Yeah.
I have to do something. I got to protect my family.
So they go to the well and there's this hair coming out like, woo.
Kagome just shuts the door. Is like, all right, we got to handle this. And then they just
Like,
act
no
like
coming in.
They act like the door is just sealed forever, even though
Yep.
she literally just shut it.
Once again, she eventually like she has to like tell Inuyasha where the hair's coming from because he can't see it and everything. and she finds like the one strand of hair to break. So she just grabs it and again just like cuts her hand open again.
Yeah.
So he can see where the blood's coming from to snip it. And she's like, "Oh, my hand's bleeding. Yeah, whatever. Who cares?"
And I mean, it's really a smart move though, because like I wouldn't think of it initially. Like he needs to be able to see where to attack because he can't see this stuff.
Yes, but also at
How
the same time, I don't think I would be as calm at having my hand sliced open twice in the same like span of 5 minutes and it
yeah,
bleeding that much.
that's true. I also would not like that. That sucks.
But then they go in the well.
And Inuyasha decides that he's going to share the top half of the fire rat kimono.
He's like, "It'll protect you." She's like, "Cool."
Um, and I even text you. I was like, "Oh man, look at this metaphor for them being like two pieces of a whole." Ha 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 ha.
They get back into the feudal Japan. A bunch of hair comes after them. They have to fight it off and everything. They eventually run into a camp where like just a bunch of like skulls or like headless dudes just hanging out, and he's like, "Oh, it's the villager dudes and everything. Look at all their
These
baddies."
baddies.
It's like, "Oh, buddy." Eventually,
Oh man.
they find like where the hair is, and Yura's like, "Hey, what's up? I want you. I want your body. I
No,
want your
she wants his
hair."
hair. Kagome's like, look at this hairball.
It's a big old hairball.
I mean, not wrong.
Inuyasha tries to fight Yura, but doesn't really do much because she keeps tying up in his hair, or in her hair, and he's just like, ugh. Slashes his chest open. He's like, "Ow, that hurt."
Yeah.
Kagome tries to shoot an arrow at her, and she's like, "Next time I won't miss." And then she shoots again and just almost hits Inuyasha.
And he's like, ah.
She's able to shoot again, but then, or the arrow she shoots, I think like it misses Inuyasha, but then like somehow hits the big hairball and it caused a bunch of skulls to fall out, and they're like, "Yo, what is it? What's with this? This is real weird." Yura's like, "That wasn't cool. Here's a bunch of fire. Here's my fire hair. Now you're gonna burn to death. Cool." And then
Kagome's just on the ground, like in a ball, yelling that it's hot.
yes, Inuyasha like jabs himself in the chest and pulls out some blood. He's like, "Here's my blood blade attack." And
Blades of blood.
he cuts off her wrist, and like
Yeah.
she's just like nonplussed. But like, "Oh, that sucks."
Yeah, her hand is like her right hand is just gone at the wrist. Also, we forgot to mention that he like gets yelled at for his split ends.
Oh yeah, she's like, "Oh, you need to take better care of your hair. There's so many split ends."
He's like, bah.
He
actually get a haircut.
he then jams a hand through her chest, right in
He wants to
between her
touch the
hammer
hammer
hammers.
hammers.
And she's like, "Well, that was mean. Why would you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, what's her weak point? She should be dead." And she's like, "No, that's cool. I'm gonna hang on. Let me get my hair and just reattach my hand real quick. Cool, I got a hand again. Yay!"
She just uses her boobs as like a storage area.
She does. That's where she
It's
keeps
wild.
the shard. She's like, "I'm just gonna keep them right here in between my hammer hammers. They'll still stay here. I'm just
Must be
always
nice.
constantly flexing my boobs, so like they just it sticks right there."
I don't have enough boobage for that. If I try to put something there, it just falls straight down.
Oh no. I definitely, when I worked in retail, I definitely saw many
Boob money?
many boob monies happen. I was like,
Ugh.
okay.
Yuck.
All right.
Yuck. She would be a boob money lady.
Yep. Kagome tries to climb the I don't know, the mountain of hair, I guess you would call it, and eventually sees like there's a red skull, and he's like, "Hey, maybe this is the thing we should fight or break." And you're like, "Hey, why aren't you like burned to death?
Why aren't you dead?
Why aren't you dead? Here, I'm gonna throw my sword at you." And it just like bounces off her, and she's like, "That seems real weird. I'm pretty sure you're mortal. You shouldn't be just like not dead or anything. I'm gonna tie my hair around your neck and then choke you to death."
Whee!
Inuyasha
That's
then,
working.
yes, he throws his blades of blood at her again. And Inuyasha is able to save Kagome for a bit. But Yura basically like reattaches herself, is like, hello, I'm still alive. Let me stab Inuyasha a couple more times.
I can't die, you dummies.
And then Kagome's like, I found the red skull. I'm just going to beat it to death.
With an arrow.
And Yura's like, oh, you better die, and throws her sword at her. And then she's able to break the skull. And then Yura's like, oh, see you later. I'm going to turn it to dust.
Bye.
And then they're able to get the shard back and everything. And then they hang out on just a giant pile of skulls. They also learned that Yura was a comb.
She was a comb.
She was possessed by a comb that combed the hair of the dead.
Or she was the comb, really.
Yeah.
Still interesting.
Yes.
Also significant, Inuyasha actually calls her Kagome this time.
Mm-hmm.
And Kagome's like, oh, you said my name. That means you must like me a little bit. And he's like, I wouldn't go that far.
And then like she smacks him on the back and he's like, oh God, pain.
I mean, he did get stabbed 3 times.
Yeah, but he's also trying to like play it off like he's fine and everything. And then like he's like, oh, this really hurts.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, whoops. Meanwhile,
Sorry.
we end the episode with Kaede just being still buried alive. Where we've seen like interstitials of like her just talking to herself.
It's so weird. She's like losing her mind.
And, like hoping that someone will come and unbury her.
And also that Inuyasha and Kagome will work together.
And she just progressively keeps getting more buried as the time goes on.
Yeah.
So
what a way to
go.
end the episode.
There you go.
Yee.
Yee.
She says yee so much.
Oh God, it's terrible. Notes and differences.
Also, I don't know that we mentioned it, but like at one point Yura gets cut completely. It's intense.
Yeah, and it's just like her hair is like.
Yeah.
She's like,
anyway,
cool.
notes.
I'm fine. Notes and differences. Kagome still has the cut on her face from Yura, which they just replaced with a band-aid, so they have to show it every time now.
Yeah.
She's pulling off her best Nelly impersonation.
It's getting hot in her.
Yeah. She's wearing her Air Force Ones. Thank you. This is the first time Inuyasha uses Blades of Blood.
Yay.
This is the first time Inuyasha calls Kagome by her name. This is the last theme song featuring just the main characters. New recurring characters are added.
I don't know what that means.
I think it just means new characters are going to show up in the ending.
Oh, okay.
Or in the opening. I don't know, whichever they're thinking of. They're just
Who knows?
adding in characters. Yura's hair could travel through the well, while Sota was unable in episode 11. Spoilers!
Wow!
With the exception of Kagome and Inuyasha, only objects can pass. Spoilers! This is the first time Kagome empowers a sacred arrow, which destroys Yura's nest. And this is the first time Inuyasha... Huh?
Slash Red Skull. It's not really the nest that she destroys, but anyway.
No, I think they're talking about when like she hits the hairball and it
when she hits the hair and it goes...
and the skulls all fall out, yeah. Because that arrow had like the doohickey on it when it hit. It was like...
Okay, I understand.
This is the first time Inuyasha passes through the Bone Eater's well without the Shika no Tama or any of its shards. Like last episode.
Yeah.
Differences from the manga. There's a butt ton.
Oh, jeez.
Yura's obsession with obtaining Inuyasha's silver hair is anime exclusive, like we said last week. Though she does mention how wonderful it is in the manga. The scene with Kagome peering at the sealed wall, wondering if the world beyond will be okay, isn't present in the anime. The entire page of Yura mentioning...
Sealed well.
I said wall, didn't I? Yeah, the well. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was like, what wall was she talking about? The entire page of Yura mentioning she's going to put a soul, likely her own, into something as she combs the skull is omitted in the anime. In the manga, Inuyasha and Kagome are almost immediately attacked by Yura's hair after returning to the Warring States era. In the manga, Yura uses her sword against Inuyasha primarily because her hair isn't able to cut him. This leads into a conversation where she introduces her blade, Benigasumi, an Oni blade that cuts only flesh and bone, not hair. Her blade is never mentioned by name or given an explanation in the anime. It's just, you have a cool sword. In the anime, Kagome nearly hits Yura on her first try when she fires an arrow, whereas in the manga, she fires 2 arrows that both end up tangled in Yura's nest of hair, causing the hair to disappear. In the anime, Yura taunts Kagome by mentioning that in comparison with Inuyasha's hair, Kagome's hair is nothing special, though she might as well take it as well. In the manga,
Yeah, Kagome gets.
Yes. In the manga, the deserting warriors are seen among the skulls, skin intact, whereas they have already become mere skulls in the anime.
Ew.
After having her hand chopped off by Inuyasha's blades of blood, she restores it with her hair in the anime, while it remains dismembered in the manga. Likewise, Inuyasha thrusts his hand through Yura's chest is much more graphic in the manga and results in Yura stabbing her blade into Inuyasha's hand instead of merely stepping on it.
Yikes.
When Inuyasha cuts Yura with her own blade in the anime, he cuts her in 2, though she is immediately restored by her hair. The wound is not nearly as drastic in the manga. That seems weird, like a weird inverse there.
Right.
The second time Inuyasha uses his blades of blood, he cuts off her other arm, which loosens her hold on the hair, strangling Kagome in the manga. On the other hand, in the anime, a barrage of his blades of blood cuts the hair.
So
Yura's,
she's just armless.
I guess she just has no arms.
Huh.
Yura's existence as an Oni isn't even mentioned in the anime. Instead, Inuyasha explains that the red comb was a comb used to comb the hair of the dead and probably took the form of Yura, her soul being transferred into the comb being the reason she wouldn't die is manga exclusive. Miyoga appearing at the very end of the chapter is left out of the anime. Instead, Kaede is shown still being buried, stating that Inuyasha had better not have forgotten about her. I don't even know who Miyoga is.
I do, but
Well, of course you do.
you'll find out.
I'm assuming I will.
Yeah.
Well, next time we will be discussing Season 1, Episode number 5, entitled The Aristocratic Assassin, which is a great title.
Yeah.
Sesshomaru.
Mm-hmm.
Which apparently the English dub has no idea how to pronounce that name. Which, granted, if I looked at that name, I would be like, I don't know how to pronounce that name. If I had no understanding of Japanese.
They pronounce it Sesshomaru. Sesshomaru, yeah, something like that.
Well, apparently in this episode, Inuyasha's going to get his out.
Whoa, what?
There you go, something to look forward to.
Whoa! Why?
You know, you gotta give the ladies what they want.
It's true, you do.
That's what we'll be talking about next time. But for now, if you want more from us, go to seasonlanguagecheckup.com or sec.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Language Checkup and Season Language Checkup OVA. Also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/anime checkup. You can buy our books, One Shining Moment, a critical analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And that's that. So next time, join us as we figure out why Inuyasha has his out.
I need to know.